Attention, this is your principal speaking. I have an urgent announcement to make. Feed by M.T. Anderson has been removed from the Canton High School Utopias curriculum.
Oh, thank God, this book sucks. It's so inappropriate, it doesn't belong in a school.
What are you talking about? Feed is a perfect example of a contemporary satire.
Just look at this passage. Fuck you, you can fucking tell me. That's page 292. It's certainly not language for an academic setting.
That's hardly a reason to remove a book from a curriculum. We're nearly adults. We've used all these words before, and most of us have at least heard them. As seniors, we're mature enough to move past the language and use the book academically. Just look at Huckleberry Finn. It was full of foul language, including racial slurs. And it's still a meaningful story and part of our curriculum today.
But Huck Finn's withstood the test of time. Feed is way too new to be on a high school reading list, since there haven't been any significant academic discussions about its content and themes, so the students don't have anything to compare their discussions to.
You don't need anything for comparison. After a decade of analyzing stories for various literary elements, we're perfectly able to do it on our own. For instance, we've been taught enough now to know that Violet's character is a metaphor for the rampant consumerist mentality in today's society. Like when her medical coverage is rejected by the people from Feed Tech that say they don't think she'll be a reliable investment at this time.
You don't understand. It has no literary merit. Its themes are scattered, and it's not even technically about a utopia. It's about a technologically advanced society, but it doesn't meet any of the requirements of utopian society, social, moral, or political perfection.
Utopia's curriculum isn't all about strictly utopian cultures. It exists to connect literature to the world in a way that promotes critical thought and healthy skepticism in society, like the school trademark, which represents the corporate takeover of America and shows readers that why it has to be fought.
I'm so done with this. Take it up with somebody who cares.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. Alright, so here's what I have so far. Feed may not be directly related to a utopian society, and its attempts at being modern and hip produce a shallow plot featuring arguably inappropriate language and situation. It also involves scattered themes that criticize society's government and economic system. However, a healthy skepticism is necessary in educated citizens of a democracy, and this novel connects contemporary issues to various utopian ideals, sacrificing details of the society's utopian underpinnings in order to preserve cohesive themes and literary elements such as plot and character development. What do you think of that?
It's good, but really boring. No one will listen to you if you just read them an essay.
Well, what do you think? It took me an hour to come up with that one paragraph.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What is the main reason you want to get this book?
Well, I really liked it, and I thought it was a great fit for this year. It wasn't exactly a utopia, but it still had a bunch of themes that relate to the class. For instance, there was that one scene where a bunch of college kids were riding, and when Violet asked them why, they said, I don't know, that was on page 266. It's a really interesting example of how the mob mentality relates to today's society. People consume products without questioning them. And in this case, it just meant causing chaos just because it was a fad.
See, now that's something that would convince me.
Alright, what's a good example of the book's literary merits?
There's a lot of character development and symbolism. Like when Titus finally admits to Violet's comatose body that she taught him to resist the feed on page 298. It's the finale of his transition from an empty-headed conformist to an individual.
That's really good. Now how about this for a conclusion? I wrote this last night. It's absurd that Feed would be taken off the Utopias reading list because even though it's relatively new, it's clear that one day it will be an impactful story. It uses a number of important themes like ignorance of society and overpowered corporations that teach students lessons about modern life, in addition to utilizing figurative language such as metaphors, irony, and symbolism at high school level.
You're ready. Let's do this.
Mr. Riley, I'd like a moment of your time to show you why Feed should be reinstated into this year's Utopias curriculum.
John, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but it's already been done. We removed it for a good reason, and at this point there's nothing we can do to change that.
Just give me a chance, and I'm sure I'll change your mind.
As your principal, I'm proud to announce that some of our very own students have convinced me to return M.T. Anderson's novel Feed to the Utopias curriculum.